Hey everybody, my name is Jared Bendis, and today I am going to be showing you how to create a digital collage. Now, this project is one that I've actually given to my own students quite frequently at the Case Western Reserve University, but today's a little bit special because what we are going to be doing is celebrating the Cleveland Museum of Art's Open Access Collection, and they have done such an amazing job of opening up their collections to the world, and it is something to really have fun with. I'm doing this to support the collage contest that they're having at the Kelvin Smith Library at Case Western Reserve University. Now, I understand that not every one of you are going to be qualified to enter the contest, but I figured why not put these tutorials out so that every one of you can have a really fun time building your own digital collage. It's pretty intense, so we're going to go over it and as a nice stepwise process. The first part of it is going to be about how to select your images and really think about building your collage. Don't skip this one. I know this one seems to be a little more talky and a little bit more sort of, cerebral, but it's really important that before we jump knee deep into Photoshop that we have all the pieces that we need. So I'm going to start over here at our web browser, and we're looking at clevelandart.org. That is the Cleveland Museum of Art's website. For those of you who don't know Cleveland, the Cleveland Museum of Art is one of the greatest art museums in the country. Matter of fact, it's regularly voted number 2. And since number 1's the Met, I feel pretty good about that. Now, what we do is we see it says search the collection and a magnifying glass. Let's just immediately click the magnifying glass. And when we do that, it's going to give us the entire collection. And it starts off with their highlights. What's neat is that if I come over here, you're going to see show only the open access. And when I click on open access, it's going to restrict those images that the Cleveland Museum of Art has put out into the world as Creative Commons 0. Now, Creative Commons 0, if you don't know, is a very special designation. What that means is public domain. That means they have taken all of these images, every image that you see here, and they have placed it out into the public domain. That means you can do whatever you want with it. You can put it on a t-shirt. You can make another piece of art out of it. You can do whatever, put it on your website. You could dance around it. It is in the public domain. This is the nicest, greatest thing that you could do. Now, I'm going to be honest, the Cleveland Museum of Art is not the first person that has put an open access collection out in the public domain. But what they've done is they've made their collection very searchable, very high resolution, and very high quality, which is really what makes this spectacular. And we want to know how many images. Look at this. 34,327 images they have put out into the public domain. Now, I could just start by scrolling, and start sort of seeing what kind of stuff is out there. Now, when it comes time to designing my own collage, I know that I want to take multiple images and put them together. Well, what am I looking for when I'm building a collage? Well, one of the things as an art teacher that I'm looking for is this sense of wholeness, this sense of creating one from many. Basically, one of the guides that I like to look at is this. Imagine for a moment that you were the guy who painted this painting, and you saw this painting incorporated into this collage. When you see that, do you see that as the focus of their other collage, or do you see that as a part of a greater whole? If it really looks like it's one image that's been ornamented by other images, where if you were the original artist, you might feel a little, let's say, cheated, then I kind of say you can do better. The idea that I'm looking for is where all of these things sort of blend together in this unique wholeness, this unity that I'm looking for. Now, that's what I'm looking for in a collage. Luckily, I'm not the jury for this collage, but as an art teacher, I can sort of give you some piece of advice on sort of these things that you're looking for so that you can sit here and say that all of this sort of creates a blend or these things complement each other. If we look, what's really interesting about this is the Cleveland Museum of Art has not just uploaded old paintings, old drawings, but they've actually uploaded photographs that are new. And they didn't have to do that. And that's what's really exciting. I'm going to scroll back up for a moment to a really special piece that is in the Cleveland Museum of Art's collection. I know this piece rather well, this 14th century French table fountain. What's neat about this piece is that it's a one-of-a-kind piece. It's really neat. Apparently, as the liquid flow through the fountain, the gears would turn and the bells would ring. And we've done a lot of work with this. I used to work for the Cleveland Museum of Art, and this is one of the pieces that I actually got to play with. Not the piece itself, but a digital representation of it. If you look at this, though, this is a photograph. And, modern copyright law says that even though the sculptural work may be in the public domain, this photograph isn't. This photograph doesn't have to be. And what's nice is that the museum has said, no, we're going to take this and we're going to put this image voluntarily into the public domain. And that's very, very nice. And it's very gracious of them. And because they have an amazing photography department, and I actually know the photography department quite well. And they do a really, really good job, and they take quite pride in their work. And look at this. Look at the detail in that. I don't know if I'm ready to incorporate this into my collage, but let's just say that I'm going to. Let's just say that I'm going to take something that this iconic, I'm going to put it aside. Now, while technically you don't have to do anything in terms of keeping record keeping for your collage, if you're actually entering the contest, we're asking that you do. And the only reason we're doing this is so that you can keep track to make sure that you're only using images from the Cleveland Museum of Art's Open Access Collection. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write down that it's table fountain. I don't have a creator here, but I'm also going to write down the URL so that I know what those things that I'm looking for are. That's all we're asking for you. Again, in any other project, you wouldn't even be required to do this because, again, Creative Commons 0 in the full public domain. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to download, and I can download 3 different items. I can download just the metadata, just the information about it, which is kind of nice, a JPEG and a caption, but the best part here is I can download a high-resolution TIFF file. This is a 100 megabyte uncompressed TIFF file. It's as good as it gets. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to download it. I'm going to click Save File. I'm going to click OK. And because I've had a little bit of problems with my audio a little bit earlier tonight, I'm going to check over to see if anybody's in the chat window complaining. And no one is in the chat window complaining. If you're live, by the way, go ahead and say hi. Every so often, I do jump in the chat window to see if anything's going on. All right, so that image is downloaded, and I'm going to come over here and back up and see what else we have. And it is just extensive. I mean, it just goes on and on. But we don't want to just look randomly through this collection. We want to actually figure something out. Now, one of the funny parts about this is that my students, when doing this type of project, say sometimes get too specific. Let me give you an example of how they get too specific. They're looking for the Pacific. So I'm going to type in Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean. And if I come over here, I'm going to find that there's only 4 images in the entire Cleveland Museum of Art collection that are the Pacific Ocean, but none of them are open access. But let's be practical. Can you tell the difference between the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and just ocean? So there you go. With ocean, they have 55 images, and 25 of them are open access. But none of them are really what I'm looking for. What I really want to see is that, that wonderful deep blue sea. Well, maybe that's it. I need sea. Let's take a look at C instead. Now I've got 173 open access images. And look, we end up getting nice blue sea, which is nice. Or maybe I don't even care about the sea. Maybe I just want water. So I'm going to come over here and look water. So this idea that I'm looking for things allows me to kind of go through my own vocabulary to see what I'm going to find. Wait a second. Did I just see Monet? Oh, yes. There it is. Monet's Water Lilies. Look at that. Now, this is a very iconic piece. When you're building a collage, there's 2 ways to look at this. One of them is to sit there and avoid the iconic pieces, as everyone's going to associate with Monet. It's hard not to see a Monet and not be taken to Monet. Or the other is, ooh, what a challenge. I'm going to use Monet. Monet is going to be just the backdrop of my piece. So you really have different things. Since Monet is long since dead and this image is in the public domain, there's no onus on us to do that. We want to make sure that we do it right. We want to make sure that when someone looks at your collage that has Monet in it, that are they ooh and ahhing what you've done, or the fact that you happen to like Monet, they like Monet, and everyone likes Monet, and there it is. So we want to make sure that we go the next level with it. So even though it's quite the challenge, let's grab it. So I'm going to write down Water Lilies, Claude Monet, the URL, and I'm going to download the high-resolution TIFF file, and there it is. And that was a big one. That was 300 megabytes. Ooh. Again. Now, I like to look for big background paintings, almost like priming a canvas. I'm going to look for something like epic. But now I want to look for little things. What am I going to put on my water scene? Maybe I need a boat. Right? So let's kind of take a look at a boat. Now, it's kind of funny because, we look at this boat here. Maybe I'm going to use a gravy boat. Maybe I should use a gravy boat. Wouldn't that be neat? This little sauce boat right here. Let's grab it. So I'm going to write down sauce boat. I'm going to write down, again, possibly, Worcester Porcelain Factory. And I'm going to grab the URL, and I'm going to download this one. This is going to be a nice one to play with. I'm going to download this TIFF, 52 megabytes. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller, and you'll see a little later on when that makes a difference. Keep scrolling down and looking at the boats, figuring out which boat we want. What else goes good with a boat? By the way, let me scroll back up to the top. How many boats were there? 323 boats. So I've got a lot of boats to choose from. You know what goes well with boats? Let's see if you're thinking this through. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you from the other side of the water. Maybe I don't need boats. You know what I need? I need a ship. Oh, look, we got all sorts of things with ships. Now, this is interesting because we have engravings and we have drawings. This is cool. Maybe we want to play with the ship. By the way, if you see images that look like this is actually the iconic Stargazer statuette, which is what they use when there is no image. So it's something you should know if you like see this over and over again. It's very much a signature piece for the Cleveland Museum of Art. Look at all these tall ships. That's very nice as well. I like how there's this wolf's head barge. I'm assuming that's somehow related to this. Okay, again, I'm looking for the right type of ship. I've got something in mind. I don't know what it is yet, but, you know, this is an art project, so I'll know it when I see it. All right, let me go scroll back up and see if we can find a ship. You know what? I'm going to use the English warship firing a salute. Yes, that will be good right here. We can use this ship or this ship. I think this ship will be just fine. And I'm going to download it after I write down English warship firing a salute and the URL. Download my higher resolution TIFF. There we go. And whilst doing that, I can zoom in and oh, look at that. Look at that wonderful cracks. Aren't that wonderful? God, it's so pretty. All right, let's come back over here. So what do I have? I have a gravy boat or sauce boat, and I have a ship, and I have a background. Maybe I need a cloud. Let's come over here and grab a cloud. Boy, I love the objects, right? I keep finding objects here, which is fine. It wasn't what I was thinking of, but I can go with that. So many crazy things that I can be looking at. And again, each one of them gives me sort of a different idea. A relief dragon among the clouds. Oh, I'm definitely going to use that one. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that dragon. Look at those clouds. Oh, I'm going to use those clouds. Those are really, really good. So I'm going to type in plate with relief dragon among clouds, and I'm going to copy the URL. Notice I keep reminding you to do that, and that's because it really is good to keep track of what you're working with. Even if you don't have to, it's sort of good to know what it is that you're playing with. So I downloaded the clouds. So I've got clouds and a ship and a boat and the water. What else goes well in a scene like that? Maybe the sun. Let's look for a sun. I bet there's a lot of sun. Not that many suns. Only 159 suns there. Let's see what else we find in the sun. Ooh, we've got some Durr. I'm a huge fan of Albrecht Durr. Durr is amazing as an engraver goes, and just so many good things. But look at this. What do we have? This could be fun. Oh, look at that. I think we've got a really pretty sun there. I think we could maybe take advantage of that sun. So I would write down Genius of the Sun, the URL, download that one as well. And I am going to do this. I'm going to do a full collage project right now. So you're going to give me a minute as I go and try to put together a quantity of images. When people ask me how many images go nice in a collage, I obviously say I don't know the answer to that. I'm often bring up one of my favorite anecdotes. There was a little boy in the old country who could do any math problem in his head. And they would yell out math problems. What's 5 times a million? And he yelled 5 million. They go, ah. And then one day somebody reached out, how many cow's tails does it take to reach the moon? And he said 1, if it's long enough. Now, obviously, 1 is the wrong answer here because it wouldn't be a collage if you used 1 image. By the way, technically, for those of you who are listening who are very well aware of what a collage actually translates to be glue. And since there actually isn't any glue in this project, it really isn't a collage, unless you're talking about digital glue. So the National Collage Society would not necessarily call this a collage, but we are still collaging in digital process. So I've got a sun. Maybe I need a wave. Let's see what kind of waves pop up. Ooh, look at the dish with maple leaves in waves. That's a nice one. Ooh, there's another dragon. Oh, I like that dragon. That's a good dragon too. We'll go back to that dragon. Right? Let's see if there's any other waves while we're looking while looking at the dragons. Now, notice, by the way, I've been looking for the images that I'm looking for. That's what I've been searching for. I could have actually searched other ways as well. I could have searched for an engraving or for a drawing. I could have looked in other ways. I'm staying very much with the sort of imagery that I want. Even though I really wanted a wave, which I did not seem to find. Well, there's a wave down there I could use. Let's grab this waves. Yeah, there's some good waves here. I don't know if I'll be able to use them all. I don't know if I'll be able to use any of them, but I'll try. So I'm going to write down the URL, download this beautiful TIFF, and then I'm going to come back up to that other dragon. Now, one of the challenges that I actually like to put upon my own students, and again, these are completely optional, just a way of mixing it up, is I try not to go with the same artist twice. Now, the other side is you could do the exact opposite and say, I'm going to do a collage of only Monet. I'm going to grab only Monet images, and I'm going to only put Monet images together. So you've got different ways of sort of approaching the challenge in front of you, decide what it is that you want to see together. So sometimes I say, mix it up, and sometimes I say, don't mix it up. It's up to you, really. And again, I'm not the juror here, so you can do whatever you want. Oh, that's nice. I like that. I've never seen this before. All right, so I'm going to save this one. And again, I have no idea exactly how this is going to come together. Make sure you keep saving the TIFF files. I don't know if that one's saved or not. Let's try it again. There it goes. All right, so now what else do I need? I have waves. I think maybe I need a horse because, I need a horse. Ooh, horses. Again, I keep saying these objects of horses, which is not what I was necessarily expecting at first, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's the small horse. Small horse is going to work. Let's do that. Let's grab the small horse. That's a dir. Look at that horse. That's a very nice horse. Let's come over here and download that horse. Give it a second to download. Sorry about that. Had to get a little water here. All right. So, oh, look at that. I love dir. I love those lines. Look at those lines. Just look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's just one of my favorites. I have looked at all the dirs in the collection. There's so many good stuff here. So I have a horse, and I have a boat, and I have the sun, and I have clouds, and I think I have 2 dragons, and I have the water. What else do I need? What else do I need? Maybe. Let's take a look. I don't know if I'm going to find any beach. Let's take a look. What happens if I type in beach? Oh, 32 images of the beach. Oh, look at that. This could be useful. The beach at sunset. Oh, yes. This could be a very, very nice piece. So let me type in beach at sunset. Let me save this TIFF. One of my recommendations when you're doing this is you don't want to keep going back and forth. I like to get all my puzzle pieces together at a time. That's my personal philosophy. I don't want to keep going back and forth. I want to sort of do everything at once. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that sky. That's nice. I'm going to grab that too. So I'd rather, sort of do my research early on, get all my research together, and then make a decision about what I'm going to do with it afterwards. Again, this is sort of how I like to approach it. You might say, oh no, I want to keep going back and forth and back and forth. These are all up to you. I'm just giving you one process. I like to tell everybody, I do preach it like it's gospel, but it's not. I'm sure you have your own way of doing it. Oh, look at that. Low tide. Again, another Monet. So I may actually mix 2 Monets together. Now, that being said, since I like Monet so much, maybe I want to look at something else. Maybe I want to go by artist. Maybe I want to look at Van Gogh, which I would have to spell right? So if I come over here and type in Van Gogh, I can come over here and realize that I have all these Van Goghs I can pick from. And I love the poplars at St. Remy. So if I come over here, maybe I'm going to use these. Maybe these poplars are going to pop out in my collage. I almost said these poplars are going to pop out in my painting, but that really wouldn't be accurate now, would it? All right, I'm going to do a couple more items just so that I have it. If you're wondering why I haven't putting people in my collage, it's because I don't like people. I don't generally like images of people in my artwork. I like to pretend that I'm there, and I like to pretend there's nobody else there with me. That's just my own sensibilities. You might, on the other hand, want to create something where it's just people, a whole collage of people. You might try to do your own version of Sgt. Pepper using only the images found in the Cleveland Museum of Art's Open Access Collection. Please, by the way, when you're searching, please, 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 make sure the open access box is checked. You'll be very, very unhappy if you actually go to put one of these things together and actually download something that actually isn't in the public domain. So I have trees, I have sea monsters, I have a horse, I need a building. Now, building would be fun. What kind of building do I want? I am particular to one type of building. Anybody who knows me will know that I am the castle guy. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to type in castle. And if all goes well, I'm going to find all sorts of images of castles. Now, I've been saving all these sorts of things. Let's take a look at how our saving's going. If you look, these images are quite large. The last one was 500 megabytes. So I've been saving and saving and saving. Now let me come over here and see if I can find ourselves an image. There's a landscape with castle and shepherds. Notice, by the way, that these are sort of more of a grayscale or monochromatic or drawing. So it'll be interesting to see how these mix together. I like this round tower. I'm going to grab this round tower. I don't know if this is going to be the one I use, but it's definitely going to be a starting point for me. I'm going to write down round tower castle of, and we'll go from there. And the URL. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to scroll down, and I think I'm going to grab one more building. One more building. Which building am I going to get? Well, a lot of engravings. Again, I like working with engravings. I like working with paintings. Ooh, a tapestry. Tapestries are nice. I like tapestries. Let's look at this tapestry. Maybe there's something in this tapestry I want to use. Ooh, look at that. You know what those are? Those are people. I don't like people. We already went over this. All right. And I don't see any castles in this tapestry. Oh, I guess there is. That whole bottom was a castle, wasn't it? All right, let's keep looking. Oh, I think that was it. I don't think I found another castle I liked. So we'll last with one last image. Let's find a unicorn. It's got to be a unicorn around. Oh, look, there's a bunch of unicorns. There's a good unicorn. Let's see how many unicorns I can find. Not a lot of unicorns. Only 14 unicorns. But it only takes one unicorn. Let's take a look at this one. Where's the unicorn? There it is. There is the unicorn. I think we will try this one. All right. So I'm going to save this image here. I'm going to write down time, of course, and go from there. And now I have this wonderful thing saved. So now I'm going to wait for this to save. And then what I'm going to do is when it's done saving, and everything should be done saving in, less than a minute, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to see what it is that I have put together. I'm going to come over and I'm going to open up the folder so we can take a look and see what it is that we have. So give me 1 second while I set that up. And let's come over here and take a look and see if I can get this to downloads. Here we go. Okay, and here we go. So now we are in the downloads window. And hopefully it is, you can see this all. I'm going to maximize it so it looks pretty good. Let's take a look. There it is. And so what you can see here is I have my green dragon, my red dragon with the blue waves, my leaves with the blue waves. I have my, I guess that's water and rock. I have the fountain. I have the tower. I have the boats on the water giving a salute. I have a little unicorn over here. I have a beach and a sky. I have Monet's water lilies. I have Van Gogh's poplars. I have I think that's the moon or the sun behind the clouds and the beach. I have a man holding up, looks like the sun's head, the little horse, the gravy boat, and the red dragon and the red clouds. So this is going to be the images that we are going to use for my collage in the next tutorial. Before I do the next tutorial, I would like to say it's your turn. So please go out, think about what you'd like to see in your composition. Think about what mixtures of things, what contrasts you'd like to look for, what unity, what story you might want to tell, what sort of scene you want to put together. That's if you want to go with something scenic. Otherwise, it could be just a design exercise. It could be you laying out boat, 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 boat. Even that's still scenic. It doesn't have to necessarily be as storytelling. It could be something very abstract. I like to start with a storytelling exercise because it gives you something to be grounded from. Believe it or not, it's actually easier to be abstract than it is to tell a story, because with a story, at least the story guides you. Please make sure along the way that you take notes. Make sure that you've clicked open access. Make sure that you've saved the title and the author and the URL of your images if you're entering the art contest, because it's just good practice. That being said, I hope you found this first tutorial useful and helpful. For me, it's a lot of fun because I never know what I'm going to find, and I hope you go and do the same thing. When we continue, we are going to delve knee-deep into Photoshop in the next tutorial. I'll see you then. Again, my name is Jared Bendis. Please make sure to follow me, and we'll go from there. Thank you.